Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of David Rides a Trike. I'm David. I'm riding a trike. And actually this week, right now at least, I'm not riding. Thought I'd do something a little different today. My videos primarily are aimed at giving some motivation to people to get up, get out, and enjoy the great outdoors. Right now it's a beautiful day here. I'm on the Des Plaines River Trail. It's in the upper 70s, bright sunny sky. It's great. And for people who have chronic illnesses and diseases, it can really help to get out and be active to some extent. I know it's helped me tremendously. Personally, I was a type 1 diabetic from the time I was 1.5 years old until I was 41. I've had 3 organ transplants, stage 3 cancer, borderline legally blind, and a bunch of things, surgeries and procedures, too many to even go into. Hang on a second, I've got sweat in my eye. Mixture of sweat and sunscreen. So today I thought I would go over, because a few people asked, some of the pros as well as a couple of the cons of riding a recumbent trike. These are strictly my opinion. There are no rules. You know, everybody has their own preferences, and this just has to do with mine. In no particular order, the first thing I want to talk about is the comfort factor. When people see me, a lot of times when I'm riding on this trail, they'll stop and say, "What's it like riding that? Is it comfortable?" And my go-to line is always, "It's like riding a lazy boy." You sit back, you recline, your feet are out in front of you. It's great. To me, it was a whole different world coming from the diamond frame bike ridership. I rode a standard diamond frame bike for years, and towards the end of when I was riding, and goes back probably close to 20 years ago, I get home from a ride, my shoulders hurt, my back hurt, my wrists hurt. You get home, nothing hurts. You feel like you've been sitting on your butt all day and, you know, just pedaling around, looking at everything around you. As far as comfort goes, my trike in particular, the manufacturer is ICE, I-C-E, stands for Inspired Cycling Engineering. It's a British company. And this trike allows different angles of the seat. Right now I've got it reclined as far back as it goes, but it will go to where it stands almost straight upright. And I've ridden it in each position that you could adjust it to, and they're all good. I'll change it from time to time, although usually my default now is all the way back. So yeah, comfort is absolutely amazing. You feel like you could go and go and go, and you know, you never get sore. Legs get a little sore after a long ride. The second thing is your view. On a road bike, you're typically holding the handlebars, hunched over a little bit, and you get a great view of your front wheel and the road in front of you. On this, you know, you're sitting back and you have everything in front of you. You know, I have a tremendous view. And I've got the mirror, which gives me a great view of what's behind me. You know, I don't have to remind myself to look up. I'm always looking up and around, and that's really hard to beat. The next pro, and again, these are what I think are benefits, is the stability and the comfort, which I kind of crammed into one. You have to work really, really hard to tip one of these things over or do a header. It's possible, but because you have 3 wheels, you're so much more stable. So people with balance issues, this is wonderful. Even if you don't have balance issues, after talking to a lot of trikers, and yes, trikers is a word, you can look it up, most agree that after you've ridden one for a while, you could tell a little part of your brain is freed up because it's not constantly worrying about balance. And when it frees up, you're more able to be open and, again, take in everything that's around you and enjoy it and just really enjoy the ride. And that leads to my next pro, which probably is the most important, and that's just the fun factor. A recumbent trike is fun to ride. Anytime you see somebody ride it for the first time, they've got a huge smile on their face. It's impossible not to. I don't know if it's because it's something that takes you back to childhood, or it's just easy to do. Anyone can ride this. Takes 0 skill. And you can just cruise around, you know, all day, wherever you want to go. You're not in danger of falling off. You're not going to wear yourself out. You can if you want to, but if you want to take a leisurely ride around the neighborhood, it's wonderful. It's just simply a whole lot of fun. You could go. Thank you. Oh, one other thing that to me is somewhat of a factor, but actually might be more important to other people, and that is winter riding. Typically, you could ride a trike into the winter weather a lot further than you can a road bike or even a mountain bike, again, because of the stability. Ice isn't going to cause you to slide out sideways and crash. You could get through low snow very easily on this. And even if there's a lot of snow, they actually make now, several of the manufacturers make fat tire trikes. The first one was Ice, the manufacturer of this trike. And that happened after they custom built one for the first person to ever ride a bike, in this case a trike, to the South Pole. Men had tried it for years, and finally a woman came along. Ice built a fat tire trike for her, and she was the first, and I think up till now is the only one to have made it there. And people became so enamored over this fat trike that Ice started making it one of their production models. So if you want to order one of those, you could ride through anything with this thing. Now, the cons. And the first one is safety, which is kind of an oxymoron because I had safety grouped in with stability as part of the pros of riding a trike. Now, a lot of people's perception is that because these are so low to the ground and the wide footprint, they're dangerous to ride on the roads, that cars can't see them. I don't do a lot of road riding, so my experience is limited. Over the 7 years I've had this trike, I've probably ridden about 2,000 miles on the road. The rest is all on the trail. But in that limited experience, I found that cars seem to give me a much wider berth going around me than they did when I was riding a diamond frame bike. Maybe it's because it's somewhat of an oddity. You know, a driver comes up and sees this thing on the road and is a little unsure, so they slow down and just give it a lot of room. I think the fact that a lot of people consider safety as a con with the recumbent trike isn't valid. You know, there's always going to be a bad driver or an uncaring driver, but for the most part, drivers have been great with me. Another con is speed, or the lack thereof. Trikes are inherently slower. For one, you've got 3 wheels, so there's more rolling resistance. That'll slow you down a little. Second, this trike, without all the bags and the bags being filled with tools and tubes and camera equipment and so on, the trike alone weighs about 40 pounds. This thing, with everything I load onto it, has to be 50 pounds or a little higher. So it's going to be slower. It takes more effort to make it go. But it's got low gears, so I could just ride at a low cadence. I go slower. It's fine. You see in a lot of online trike user groups, new trike riders, very often one of their first questions is, you know, hey, what are the rest of you? What's your average speed for a ride? And they ask that because they're coming from riding a regular bike where they might ride 14, 15 miles an hour average, and all of a sudden they're down to 10 or 12 or 8. They're slower. But, and I fell into that category. I was like, man, you know, I'm really, really slow on this thing. But after a while, that fun factor and the comfort factor override the speed factor. You know, you're just out, you're having a good time. You don't care how fast or slow you're going. You're just enjoying the ride, and that's truly what it's about. Just get out and enjoy the ride. There are trikes that are made to go faster, racing trikes, and they're much more lightweight. There's one manufacturer that makes a carbon frame one that's extremely light. So you could go very light and sleek, just like you can on a road bike. But typically, I think most people opt for kind of a hybrid model, which is what this is. You know, I could take this on the road or on a crushed limestone trail like this and be perfectly comfortable. The last con is price. Trikes are expensive. A decent trike starts at about $1,500. You could go on Amazon and find trikes for $400 or $500. It's the same as going to Walmart and buying a bike for $100. They're junk. You're going to be uncomfortable. It's not going to handle or perform. If you're going to get a trike, if money is a big issue, there are tons of good, very good used trikes on the market. Look for a used trike to start with, or just go to a trike dealer and see what they have. And as I said, they started at about $1,500, and like with anything else, pretty much the sky's the limit. You know, if you want to get e-assist so that you could have an easier time keeping up with your road bike riding friends, you know, that's an option that it adds significantly to the price, but it's something you can do. But prices can mount pretty high and pretty quickly. They're not mass produced the same way that regular bikes are, so the costs are higher in manufacturing them. Okay, so I think that's about it. For pros, we have comfort, view, stability and safety, and fun. For cons, you have speed or lack thereof, cost, they can be pricey, and safety, which is a perceived con among a lot of people in my experience, I haven't found that to be true. So that's it for this episode of David Rides a Trike. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope maybe I could shed a little light. If you have any comments, anything to say, I'd love to hear from you. Please put them in the comment section down below. Also, I'd appreciate it if you could share this video with others. Also, please subscribe to my channel and like this video and my others. And I will see you on the next ride. Bye-bye.